All right, today we're behind the wheel of the 2015 Toyota Sienna, and I'm here with Dave Lee with Toyota, and we're driving through the streets of Seattle to learn more about this vehicle and some history on it, its competition, what's new this year. So let's begin with what makes this vehicle new this year versus last year.
Okay, well, for 2015, Sienna has received what we call a mid-cycle change. And on the Sienna vehicle, it's more traditional. You'll see new headlights and taillights on some of the models. We're in the SE grade here today, which actually didn't have any change to the taillights out back, and just some minor tweaks to the front. But the big changes on Sienna are in the inside here where we're sitting, Dave. And there's a whole lot of new stuff right in front of you and behind us and all over the place inside.
Now, I've looked through this vehicle before our drive today, and I've kind of tried to maneuver the middle row seats and make my way to the back seats. And it's pretty standard what you'd expect in one of these larger minivans, if that's a term, larger minivan. So it's got some challenges with those bucket seats, but it does have flexibility.
Yes, it's there's a lot of different ways you can go with that second row seat in a minivan, right? You can go with flexibility and ease of configuration, but usually that comes at the cost of seat comfort. Or you can tend to focus more on seat comfort, but then the seats are bigger and heavier and more difficult to configure or perhaps remove. We've tried our best to kind of compromise there, but if anything, I would say Sienna's second row seats are more oriented towards comfort than lightweight, let's say.
Okay.
And you don't see a lot of storage underneath them, but they are designed to be removed. The third row seat is a stow and go type that goes into the floor panel itself. So if you do that and then remove those second row seats, now you've got a cavernous area back there to haul all kinds of stuff.
Is it pretty obvious who the target audience of this vehicle is?
Well, yeah, there's been traditionally a couple of audiences that we look at with the Sienna product. One is the emerging families that have multiple kids and have a busy lifestyle. Maybe their children are old enough now where they're active, and they've got to haul not only the kids but stuff.
Yeah.
And then also empty nesters, believe it or not, the grandparents, right? With some of the upper grades that appeal to the grandparents whose grandkids will come over. And so then we want to have a product for them to maybe haul those guys around with, but also have a little bit more luxury in it to appeal to that older consumer that's looking for that finer touch in the interior.
What really stands out to me in this vehicle is this center stack.
Yes.
This whole flat display right here really is different. I like it. And even this, the screen here, the navigation screen, flat, stylish, sharp, high technology. What do you know about this area and how it was configured?
Well, what we wanted to do here was I guess modernize the interior, but maybe that's not a great term for it, but we wanted to bring it up to date. We wanted to restyle it. We also wanted to increase the use of soft touch materials, changing the seat fabrics and stitching and matching the dash to it. But some of the key things here, Dave, are the new instruments that you've got that are a new design. You've also got a very nice multi-information display in between the gauges that gives you a whole lot of information about your Sienna. Everything from which door is open on the car and is color customizable and some of those great things. But as you move to your right, we've got all new audio systems for the Sienna, our latest Intune audio systems. We changed the design of the panel to make it very flat appearing. We've got some flush switches here on the side of the bezel to operate the controls with. And then we've got a revised climate control system. We have a new feature called Driver Easy Speak, which allows you to engage that on your audio system. And then there's a microphone up here that amplifies your voice. So if the young ones in the back are being a little unruly, per se, or maybe you just wanted to have a little extra emphasis, or perhaps tease some of your friends and act like you're their conscience speaking to them, you can engage that, and it amplifies your voice through the rear speakers. Then also the other thing we've done is ergonomically we've shifted these controls over about 3 inches to get them closer to you, the driver, to make them easier for you so you don't have to reach as far for them.
That makes a huge difference.
Oh, it's huge. This is a pretty wide vehicle. You and I are a good distance apart here. And some of these larger cars like that, like the Tundra full-size pickup, their size actually can be a little bit of a hindrance if you're not careful on your packaging, we call it, right? How do you place the components? So we did actually move things over towards the driver just a bit, because the passenger, in my seat here, I have an easy time reaching what I need to reach here. I don't have a steering wheel in front of me and need to focus on that, but you're a little more locked into where you're at, so we want to make that easier for you.
I kind of feel like this is a crossover. I feel like I'm in a crossover almost. It's not too big, but I know how big it is.
Yes.
But the the feel driving and the comfort up here, I don't feel like it's too wide. Like you said, there you are, but you're not too far away,
Yes.
and I really do have my space.
Yes, you do. And it does have a little bit of a crossover feel, I think, too. As we did with our Camry vehicle, we've done some work on the suspension on Sienna to enhance its handling. And it was always a good handling minivan, I thought. But we've also enhanced that a bit with some spring and shock work. This is the SE model. This is our sporty one. So this has the stiffest suspension in it and the more sporty interior. And the thing I like is this pass-through here, right? If we park on a curb here in the city, if you don't want to get out your door, you can just slide right over the center console here and out the vehicle on the passenger.
You use the word sportiness, and we're in a minivan.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of an odd term to use, but talk about this engine and how it's very similar to the Camry, if not the same.
Yes, in fact, it is our 3.5 liter V6 engine. It's been tuned for Sienna, so it's got a little less horsepower and a little bit more torque. But the horsepower is still up over 240. I think it's about 248 horse, if I remember correctly. And it's a great power plant for this minivan. We've got a 6-speed automatic transmission behind it. This van is, unofficially by me, it's the fastest one in the segment. If I drag race them, I typically can beat everybody with this, but that's here nor there, and that's subjective.
Yeah.
But the SE model is the model we have designed more for perhaps that customer that wants a little more excitement in their minivan, as well as the functionality. Our Swagger Wagon campaign kind of appeals to that. It's got that little more of a sporty element to it.
Now, I've heard the word sporty and excitement in a minivan. Okay, to each their own, right?
Yes.
What about the competition? We're talking about the Town and Country, the Caravan, the Odyssey, all very similar. And from my experience in the Honda Odyssey, this looks like a very almost identical car.
Yeah, they're similar in size. Honda has a little different suspension design, and they have a very good ride and handling quality. We do battle it out, though, for value and features and functionality. Honda builds a fine van, and so does Chrysler. And they tend to specialize more in the interior. The functionality of the interior as opposed to the exterior styling and perhaps ride driving dynamics. So everybody has kind of their strengths there. It's really a segment that is hotly contested. All the products have great features, once again, that I've personally enjoyed, and I like our van a lot. I really do. I think we've got a good blend of driving dynamics. I think we've got a very roomy and spacious interior, a very configurable interior. To be honest, Dave, if I was going to have one car, if I was told that I can only have one vehicle, which would be totally horrible, but if I had to have one vehicle, I think you're driving it right now. I can honestly say, from my perspective and the things I do in my life, even though my daughter's raised, these things they're very handy. These minivans are handy cars to have. They drive like cars, but they haul like trucks, kind of.
Okay. This is probably the softball question of the day, but why buy the Sienna over its competition?
Well, I think you buy the Sienna over its competition if you like its blend of good driving dynamics, reasonably thrifty fuel economy, a very classy and upscale looking interior that's configurable, and overall the value of what you get on it, features per the dollar. The in-cabin technology that we have, our in-tune audio systems, I think is the class of the industry right now in the non-luxury segment. I think we have a better selection of apps and electrical performance there, and our navigation system is I think, without peer. So I think you've got some good in-cabin technology and just some great usability there and fun driving dynamics, and I think it makes a well-rounded package.
To learn even more about the 2015 Toyota Sienna, be sure to visit everymandriver.com. Until next time, I'm Dave Erickson. Thanks for watching.